What is happening, my friends? Welcome back to another video. Appreciate you tuning in today. I know I've been doing these little book reviews lately, but dude, I gotta tell you, I read this a couple months ago. This book, man, I gotta tell you, first of all, I saw the movie Air with the story of Phil Knight and the Nike Jordan deal. Unbelievable movie. I mean, great cast, but doing a lot of research into the movie, I found out that it was so accurate. It's one of those things where there was hardly any, Hollywood influence. There were some scenes where, it didn't happen exactly that way. Like when Matt Damon's character went and saw Jordan's mom kind of on his own. That wasn't really that way. It was actually his agent that set that up. But for the most part, it was very spot on with the actual story. So after I watched that, I kind of got inspired to go pick up this Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's funny, I had this book sitting on my shelf collecting dust. I saw that movie and just ran and picked this up. So this book, if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. Phil Knight, founder of Nike, he is an incredible guy. Couple of my takeaways from this book. One, collaboration. I mean, it's incredible how, he was not scared. Look, I feel like in today's age, especially my generation, we are so about doing things ourselves and, I want the whole piece of the pie and, you kind of want to be the solopreneur, like that's what's popular right now. But, Phil Knight, he did not think that way at all. His first partnership was with his track coach, and it was the coach's idea. He's like, "Hey man, if you're going to go do this shoe thing, let me be a part of it. Let me help you." And he was honored by that. He didn't see it as a threat to his ownership of the business. He invited it, like full on invited it in. So that was one of the big takeaways that I got from it. I mean, there's so many. One of the other things too is, I think a lot of people nowadays think that all the Nikes of the world, the Apples of the world, the Amazons, the Ubers, like all of these big, huge inventions, like all those, earth shattering ideas are gone. I don't think it's true at all. As a matter of fact, Phil Knight, I mean, he didn't invent the shoe, right? Steve Jobs didn't invent the computer. All these other companies, like they weren't necessarily the first to the market. They were the best in the market and the most known. So obviously, Nike, I mean, this is a symbol, the Nike swoosh, that is just, you just know what it is, right? So there's millions of different, shoe companies or companies that tried to be companies. What Phil Knight's gift was his ability to collaborate. I think that was my big takeaway from this. Also, too, he kept things very simple. Like he didn't try to get too complicated on things. He kept things very simple. If things weren't making sense, he would get his team together and they would have this very almost brutal like conversations with each other. Like they would haze each other. They would bully each other, but in the good of the company and in the good of each other, right? So he wasn't ducking behind anything. If there was an issue, he'd go straight on and attack it. So it was a huge inspiration. I mean, the end, I won't give anything away, but I really like how he started telling the story when he was, I think, 22. He went, traveled the world, came back, got inspired to create this shoe. He was a runner, Phil Knight. So he just had a lot of just simplicity in his approach. I think that's lacking today. I think people try to get way too complicated with an idea and they overthink it in their head and then it just never happens. I saw this great thread the other day. It was about how we get these ideas and they're like, world changing ideas. And then we pick up our phone and start scrolling because it's like, that's hard. Like, I think that happens because we overcomplicate things that could actually be very simple. So my takeaway from Phil Knight was like, dude, if you have an idea, break it down, make it very simple, and just start doing the things. Like he he didn't, he teamed up with this company from another country. I don't want to give anything away if you hadn't read it, but he basically, this Japanese shoe, he basically went to them and said, hey, let me buy in bulk your shoe and I'll sell it in America. So he became the main distributor in America. That's how he started selling shoes. He didn't invent the Nike running shoe, right? And then they kind of had a falling out, and he decided to kind of go and make his own brand, and that's where Nike became Nike. So, he had a simple idea. He was a runner. He knew shoes. It was his passion. He said, I want to sell shoes. He didn't go invent a shoe. He found somebody else that was already doing it, bought in bulk, and started selling. But he could sell it because he understood what runners needed, right? He wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. Now, there came a time where that partnership ended, and he decided to kind of go on his own with his track coach. So ultimately, man, my takeaway from this book is, if you have an idea, don't be scared to collaborate. Don't be scared to take the chance with somebody, because look, it might not work anyway. So why would you kind of go through all these trials of details and oh, I don't want a partnership because I want to own 100%. 100% of what? You don't have anything yet, right? And then down the road, when it starts making money, you can decide where you want to go from that. So key takeaway, if you have an idea and it makes sense, simplify it. Simplify it. Simplify it. I love the Steve Jobs thing. It was simplify, cross out, simplify, cross out, simplify. Keep it simple, and that way you can actually take it to market and do something that's, make something that's real. So guys, I just wanted to shoot this quick video. Phil Knight's Shoe Dog. If you haven't seen Air, by the way, I would check out Air as well. I would read this first and then go watch the movie. Phil Knight, man, unbelievable guy. The dude is worth so much money. It's crazy, just because of a simple idea. And now Nike is on every single athlete in the world. So go pick it up. Comment below if you've either read the book or seen the movie. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. See you guys.